So we created a table and we created fields and we created different types of fields and we were about to discuss a validation. That is, whenever user is selected on the reported user field, we want to populate manager and email address automatically. So that's the validation we were actually discussing. So we'll start that. So whenever reported user is selected, manager and email address should be populated automatically. So manager of this user, email address of this user has to be populated. Is the requirement clear? So we'll have to write a script here for this auto population. So we'll see that now. So it's too early to discuss scripting. So we'll try to do that. Okay. Even if you don't understand also, no problem. So we'll have a detailed discussion in the development class about this kind of use cases. So for this use case, we'll have to write a script called client script. Okay. So on this form context menu option, configure client scripts. Click on this. So click on new. So this is a new, this is a form to create a new client script. So we'll be giving some meaningful name for this client script. Say populate manager, comma, email. Okay. On which table? Test table 9. So you can give any meaningful name. Okay. So name what actually this client script is doing. You can give that meaningful name here, and then UI type as all, type as on change. Okay. So here, this is a window where you will be writing the script for this use case on change of the field. So on change of, so observe carefully here. So whenever you're adding a value on this field, whenever you're referencing a user on this particular field, you want to populate manager and email address, right? So that means on change of the value on this field, you want to populate these two fields. So we have to select a field here called on change of which field. So select the field name is reported user. Based on which field value change we want to execute the logic, so select the field here. So reported user. Getting it? Now, so here, write the script. So how should I write the script here? So you need to understand the approach, okay? You may not understand the logic, the script syntax, but you need to understand the approach. What are we actually uh, trying to do here, and how are we trying to do? So observe carefully here. Whenever a value is selected on this field, I want to read this value. I want to read this value, and I want to read the reference to record, and then I want to read email address, and I want to read manager. Whenever a record is referenced on this field, I want to read the value present on email field. I want to read the value present on manager field. And after reading, set those values here on the manager and on the email address. So read the record, referenced record, read the email and manager from the referenced record, set it here, set them here. Is the approach clear? Everyone clear?
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
So now, how can I read the reference to record? How can I read the referenced record on this field? So I have a method here. So So I can read using g_form dot get reference. So what is this get reference? What is g_form? We'll discuss in the scripting development classes. And which field I want to basically read reported user, right? Right click, and so this is the backend field name or system name of this field. Click on this. So here you will see the details of the field. So this is a backend name of the field, and this is the type of the field, and it is reference to user table, and on which table this field is created, on this table. So take the field name, copy. So as I said, system will understand only by using the system name. That means wherever you're writing script, always use backend names. Do not use display names. Getting it? I'm not using display names. I'm always using the backend names while writing the script, right? So this is how you are using the backend name of the field. Now, so say get user details. So this is a callback function. Callback function. So this is a standard way of writing a script for this use case, for reading the value selected on the reference field. So I'm assigning it to another variable. Say get user info. Okay, get user info, and then so this is a callback function, get user details. So I want to define the definition of the callback function. So function name. So this is a function name, and this is syntax how you define a function definition, and pass this variable as input to this function. Okay, now read the manager of this referenced record. Read the manager of this referenced record. So you need to read this record, and then you have to read this manager and then email address. So you can open this referenced record. So click on this eyeball symbol, and then you can open that email. Right click, and this is a field name for backend system name of this field. So display name is email, backend name is this one. Similarly, manager. So this is a display name, and this is a backend name. Always refer to the backend names. So now I want to read the manager and email of the referenced record. So you can use dot walking here. Dot walk to the referenced record to read the email and manager. Okay. So dot walking is a separate concept which will be used for the reference fields. So dot walking can be done this way. Observe carefully here. So now I'm using this variable to read this particular field. So get user info dot. So I'm using dot here to dot walk to the reference to record. Okay. So this field dot email, this field dot manager to read the email and manager. So this field dot email. Okay. So this will give me the email address of the user. So I'm storing into a variable called variable user email. Okay. I'm converting this into a string format dot to string. At high level, if you're able to understand, that is sufficient. Now I want to read the manager using dot walking. So again, this field dot, so this variable dot manager dot to string. Assign it to a variable user manager. Okay, so this is the, so I'm able to read the email and manager, and I'm able to store in these variables. Now after reading, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to set it on these two fields, manager and email. So I'm setting it right now. Observe carefully. G underscore form dot set value. Set value is used to set the value on the fields. Which field? Manager. U underscore manager is the field. So U underscore manager is the field. Okay. Similarly, U underscore email address. That's a field. So on this manager field, I want to set with the manager value of this record. So manager is a field. With what value I want to set? Manager. So where is a value stored of the manager? On this variable. Use that variable here directly. Okay. Next, G underscore form dot set value of which field? U underscore email underscore address. With what value? This user email. Right? Save it. Getting it? So now our script is ready. So whenever you are selecting a value on this field, reported user field, we'll see that manager and the email address is going to auto populate. So refresh this and then select the user, say test user. See here, manager and email address is populated. So for this user, this is the manager and this is the email address. Select some other user, say Sharath. So Sharath doesn't have manager. Sharath doesn't have manager. Only email address is present. Select any other user, say this user. Doesn't have Srinivas doesn't have manager, only it has email. This user has email address, manager is not present. Select any other user, right? So this way you can see the data is getting auto populated. See, is this clear, guys? So this way you can automate. So whenever you are trying to change the value, you're able to populate. So we'll see this kind of validations, many more in the coming class. Clear up till now?
Yes, sir.
So next, for example, refresh. So this is a new record. I did not save this yet. So observe carefully here, the reported user. So this is a reference field and it is a mandatory field. And I want to by default set it with the logged in user record here. So I want to default this field with the uh, logged in user record here. I want to reference it with the logged in user information here. So whenever I open this record, so I logged in, right? So my username should show up here. So if you are logging in to this table and if you are opening up this form, new record form, then your username should be populated here. So I want to default this field with the logged in user full name, logged in user full name. So how can you set a default value? For example, this short description, right? I want to uh, set the default value on this particular short description. So how do I do that? Just right click on this field, configure dictionary, click on this, click on this. So you see default value here. So this is a configuration entry of this particular field. And you have a default value here. And you see on this field, if you set with some text, so please enter the details. So this is a default value that I'm setting onto this field, right? Default value. So now for all the records, you will see this as a default value. Click on update. See here. So this field I'm setting with the default value. Now user will remove this and he'll add the details here while raising a ticket. Getting it? So now likewise, I also want to set the default value on this field with the logged in user information. So how can I set the default value on this field? That too with the logged in user full name. So right click on this field, say configure dictionary, right? Configure dictionary. Here you can see the default value, right? So I want to set with the logged in user information. So this is a reference field, right? As I said, the reference field always stores the sys of the reference record, correct? So now I have to set the sys of the logged in user here on this field. I have to set the logged in user sys onto this field. So how do I get the logged in user sys? Logged in user means this user, system administrator. So how do I get that? So I have a method here. So gs dot get user id. So this syntax will give you the logged in user sys. So if you want, you can check that. So copy that and type scripts background in the application navigator. So you can write the script here and you can try it. So gs dot print. I want to print the sys of the logged in user. Okay. So gs dot print means prints the output on the screen with what information? Logged in user sys. Right? gs dot get user id will give you the sys of the logged in user. Click on run script. So this is sys of the logged in user. So you can directly use it here in the default value. So it's a syntax related to the script, right? So put JavaScript here. Okay. Now save it. Save it. Go back to the table. Click on this. Click on new. See here, it is defaulted to logged in user full name. So it is reference to the logged in user record. Is that clear? Everybody clear? Anybody not clear? Please let me know. So right. So with this, we are good with the fields creation and understand different types of fields. So we'll see some options here. So from the form, I can navigate to the table configuration this way. Right click, configure table. Okay. So on this table, so this is a table configuration, right? And these are all the fields. Okay. These are all the fields present on the table. And you can see a few options here. So how did we create the fields? Through form design, right? So here is a link to go to the form design from the table configuration. So click on this, you'll be navigated to the design view of the form. Next. So we also created fields through the form layout. right? So how did I navigate to the form layout? So on the form, context menu, configure, form layout. From here also I created the fields, right? So this screen can navigate from here as well, from table configuration as well. So you
Sorry,
know,
I have one doubt. From we are creating the fields in the form layout also, but
hmm,
there is no displaying the form design. No? So
sorry,
it is
can you,
not displaying the form design. No? So we are creating the form layouts in the form layouts in the field. We are creating the fields now in the form layout, and
you
there
can,
is no
uh,
there in the
no,
form.
wait a second. You can ask the question in Telugu, no problem.
Okay,
You
okay.
not ask me in English only. You can ask me in Telugu, no problem.
యా ఇప్పుడు మనం ఫామ్ లేఅవుట్ లో యూజర్ ని మామూలుగా ఫీల్డ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాం కదా సార్.
అవును.
అలాగే మనం ఫామ్ డిజైన్ లో కూడా చేస్తున్నాం కదా, బట్ ఫామ్ డిజైన్ లో అవి అపియర్ అవ్వట్లేదు కదా అంటున్నాను.
ఎందుకు అవ్వట్లేదు? ఎక్కడ పేరు అవ్వలేదు?
ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నిన్న మీరు ఫీల్డ్ అని ఒకటి క్రియేట్ చేశారు కదా ఫామ్ లేఅవుట్ లో,
హ్మ్.
అది ఫామ్ డిజైన్ లో కనపడదు కదా. అది
ఎందుకు అనిపించదు? కనిపిస్తది. ఇప్పుడు ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్
ఉమ్,
ఈ ఫీల్డ్స్ అన్ని కూడా ఫామ్ కొన్ని ఫీల్డ్స్ మనం ఫామ్ లేఅవుట్ నుంచి క్రియేట్ చేసాం కదా.
అవును.
If you go to the form design now, click on this form design. You are able to see all the fields. ఈ ఫీల్డ్స్ అన్ని కూడా కొన్ని ఫామ్ డిజైన్ నుంచి చేసినాయి, కొన్ని ఫామ్ లేఅవుట్ నుంచి క్రియేట్ చేసినాయి.
ఓకే ఓకే.
అన్నీ కూడా ఫైనల్ గా చూయించేది ఒకటే టేబుల్ నుంచి. బట్ the way you are accessing them is from different areas is different. Finally you are seeing the table view only. ఫైనల్ గా మనకు కనిపించేది కూడా టేబుల్ యొక్క ఫీల్డ్స్ మాత్రమే. either you are looking at from the design view or you are looking from the layout view. Finally you are seeing the table fields only. There is no difference when you are looking at the fields information from the form design or when you are looking at from the form layout view. No, ultimately you are seeing the table fields information in total. Okay, there is no differentiation. Just the way you create the fields from different area, that is different. ఫామ్ డిజైన్ నుంచి క్రియేట్ చేసేటప్పుడు మనం ఇక్కడ నుంచి చేస్తాం, ఫామ్ లేఅవుట్ నుంచి చేసినప్పుడు మనం ఇక్కడ నుంచి చేస్తాం, అంతే డిఫరెన్స్. అంతేగాని అల్టిమేట్ గా ఫీల్డ్స్ అన్ని కూడా టేబుల్ మీదనే క్రియేట్ అవుతున్నాయి. అండర్స్టాండింగ్?
యా ఎస్ ఎస్ సార్.
ఓకే, రైట్. సో for using layout form, you will be navigated to the form layout screen. So that option is also available here. From the table configuration, you can go to the form layout. Next, we talked about default list, right? When we discussed about personalized list, we also discussed about default list, right? Any changes made to the default list view will be affected to all the users, right? So we made that change through the list layout, right? So for example, so we discussed this in the list concept. So anything which, any changes that we do using this personalized settings icon, the changes will be affected only to the user, logged in user. But if you want to make changes to the default list and the changes to be affected to all the users, you have to make the changes from the list layout. Getting it? So this option is also available from the table configuration. So here it is, list layout or layout list. So from this also you can navigate to the same screen and you can make changes to the default list of the table, right? Show list or show form is nothing but when you click on this, user will be navigated to the new record of this particular table. Click on show form. So this is a new record of this particular table. Altogether, we are finally reaching out to the table only, but we have different options from different places. Show list means it will navigate to the list view of this table. Click on this. So this is a list of records from this table. Right? To the table again. Show schema map. So this is used to check the relation of one table with all the other tables and also see the detailed list of fields for a table. Click on this. Show schema map. So it will give you the detailed specification of a table and all the fields. So this is test table 9am 2.0. Click on this plus columns. So these are all the fields present on this table and these are all the different types, right? So this is a currency field. This is reference to user table, reference to group. I can click on that again. I can see how group table is related to. So this is giving you the schema map of a table. So for example, open the schema map of another table. So we have one more table, right? So this table. So click on this. Go to the table configuration of this table. This is extended from task. Okay. This table is extended from task. Now click on this table configuration. Show schema map. Click on this. So you see here this table is related to the task table and these are all the task fields inherited from task table and these are all the task columns specific to the task table. And right, so this way you can see the relation and also you can see the field names across the table. Getting it? So that way you can verify the schema of the table. So we did not create any access control set on this table. So we'll discuss that in the server side scripting. And labels. So I think we had already added some help text, right? Or hint on one of the table fields. Not here. I think for the reported user, right? Click on show form. See here, we added a label on the field. So likewise, you can add label. You can add hints on the fields. You can add field help text or hints from the configure dictionary labels related list, right? And for example, on this table, so all these fields are stored in a table. All these fields are stored in a table called sys underscore dictionary. That means all these fields dictionary entries, all these fields dictionary entries are stored in a table called sys underscore dictionary. So this table will store all the dictionary entries of all the fields from all the tables. So go to this dictionary entry. So sys dictionary dot list. So these are all the different tables and their fields and their field types information. Complete details of each field for all the tables is stored as individual records here.
Our table, right? Start. Able to hear me?
Yes, that now.
Am I audible?
Yes, yes, that.
Previously, did you lose me?
Yes.
Since how much time?
So 5 to 10 seconds. That's it.
Right, no problem. So this is the table, this sys underscore dictionary, and this field will store all the dictionary entries of all the fields from all the tables. For example, check for our table, copy the table name. So what is our table name? So this is our table name, right? Copy. Go to the dictionary entries list, paste the table name. So you see, these are all the fields. I mean, these are all the fields, amount assigned to, these are all the fields. These are all the dictionary entries of these fields related to this table. Getting it? So there is a field called collection here. So you will not see this type of field, okay, from the layout or from the form design. Don't see that there. So this field type is created for this table specifically when you create a table. So we created this table that time. This field type entry is created here on this dictionary entries. So this entry is used basically for auditing the table. Without this entry here, cannot audit the table field. Cannot audit the table fields. So if you don't see this entry, you won't be able to do the auditing for the table. So many things can be done using this collection type of field on a particular table. Open this. Click on advanced view. So you see here by default it says audit is true. Audit is true means you can audit the table records, whatever the changes made onto the table records, everything is captured, everything is audited. That's because of this collection type of field set to audit. Now, for example, you have an attributes here. So I'll pass some attribute, something like this. No underscore attachment equal to true. So I'm setting this attribute here. No attachment equal to true means I do not want attachments to be added on this table records. I do not want attachments to be added onto this table records. So I'm saying no attachment is true. Save. Now go to the table. Click on new. Wait a second. This icon should be disabled when you add this attribute. Let me just check again. Show table, show form. Some problem. is still showing up. So still we are able to attach the attachments. Some problem. Ideally, it should not allow.
I think we need to update whenever the give the input.
Which one?
You added in that comment, right? No attachment is, yeah,
Is it not saved? Just a
I
minute.
think no.
It is saved, right? It is saved. If I refresh it, the entry is already saved. Some problem. Ideally, it should not allow this paperclip icon, right? So you see here, paperclip icon, this should be disabled. This should get disabled whenever you add some no attachment equal to true. Just a moment. Let me verify. Okay, there is no true or false to be passed. Just mention it as no attachment. Save. Try it. See, the icon is disabled here. That means users cannot add attachments onto the records. Either it could be new records or existing records for any records. See, the icon is disabled here. So that way you can control the attachments display as well. Go back to the table. So this is actually one of the requirements for disabling the users to add attachments on the records. So this is one way. You have to add this attribute on the table, collection dictionary entry. Right. So we'll discuss one more thing here, called related list. Related list. Any doubts so far? Anybody? So related list is a section, okay, which is present at the bottom of the records, table records, I can say. So related list is a section which is present at the bottom of the table records. A related list will show the list of records related to the parent record, right? So observe carefully here. Incident. Open any of the incident record. Open any existing record. So you see here, on this incident record, at the bottom, you see some sections. These are called a related list. These are called a related list. Each related list will have some list of records. So this is called a related list. Each record has some related list, and each related list will have some list of records. So these records in some or the other way related to this incident record. That's why they're showing up here. These records are related to this parent record. So this is called parent. These are all called a related list records. Okay. Now we want to have this kind of related list for our table as well. How can we build such a related list to our table? So we'll discuss that. Is that clear? So establish a related list onto the table. So we'll discuss that in the next class. It's going to take some time. We won't be able to finish it that next 5 minutes. So we'll discuss that in the next class. Any questions?
Dilip, we have
Yes.
work notes, right?
Yes.
We are in that we are seeing for the work notes now. We are opening. We can get that notes in the table, right? We need not to open the separate for the dictionary work notes.
This one,
Yeah.
configure dictionary. Click on this. Okay. What is the question now?
అంటే నార్మల్ డిక్షనరీ ఏదైతే సారీ ఏదైతే వర్క్ నోట్స్ లో యాడ్ చేస్తామో ఆ నోట్స్ మనం చూడడానికి మీరు సపరేట్ అది వర్క్ నోట్ టేబుల్ ఓపెన్ చేశారు కదా, అది కాకుండా డైరెక్ట్ ఏదైతే మా టేబుల్లో ఓపెన్ చేయగానే ఆ వర్క్ నోట్స్ వస్తాయి కదా.
అంటే ఫీల్డ్ నేమ్ తెలుసుకోవాలంటేనా?
ఈ ఫీల్డ్ ఏదైతే వర్క్ నోట్స్ మనం యాడ్ చేస్తున్నామో, ఇప్పుడు ఇంతకుముందు టెస్ట్ అప్డేట్ 1 అని యాడ్ చేశారు కదా.
అవును.
అది నార్మల్ ఈ రికార్డ్ ఓపెన్ చేయగానే వస్తుంది కదా సపరేట్ గా. మీరు ఇంతకుముందు సపరేట్ వేరే ఫామ్ ఓపెన్ చేశారు.
అవును, జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీస్ అంటే
జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీస్ ఓపెన్ చేశారు, అది అవసరం లేదు కదా. నార్మల్ గా టేబుల్ ఓపెన్ అయితే రికార్డ్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే కనిపిస్తాయి.
అంటే ఈ ఎంట్రీ ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది కానీ ఇక్కడ స్టోర్ అవ్వట్లేదు. ఈ ఎంట్రీ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది అంటే జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీస్ అనే టేబుల్ నుంచి వస్తుంది ఎంట్రీ. ఇది ఇక్కడ స్టోర్ అవ్వట్లేదు. ఈ ఎంట్రీ ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది, ఈ డేటా ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తుంది అంటే జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీస్ టేబుల్ నుంచి వస్తుంది డేటా మనకి.
ఓకే,
అర్థమైందా?
స్టోర్ అవ్వాలంటే ఈ డేటా స్టోర్ అవ్వాలంటే టెస్ట్ అప్డేట్ అనేది
అక్కడ స్టోర్ అయిపోతుంది. ఇక్కడ ఎప్పుడైతే మనం ఎంటర్ చేస్తామో టెస్ట్ అప్డేట్ 2 అని ఎప్పుడైతే ఎంటర్ చేస్తామో, ఎంటర్ చేసి సేవ్ కొడతాం కదా.
అవును.
సేవ్ కొట్టగానే ఈ రికార్డ్ ఎప్పుడైతే అప్డేట్ అవుతుందో ఈ ఫీల్డ్ లో ఉన్న డేటా కూడా వెళ్ళి ఆ టేబుల్ లో అప్డేట్ అవుతుంది. జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీ టేబుల్ లో.
అదే అంటే నార్మల్ టేబుల్ మన ఇప్పుడు టేబుల్ 9 AM ఉంది కదా, ఇది ఓపెన్ చేస్తే అందులో కనిపించవా అని అడుగుతున్నాను. యాక్చువల్ నా డౌట్ అదే.
ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది యాక్టివిటీస్ లో.
అదే
ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది అని చెప్పేసి మనం ఇక్కడ స్టోర్ అవుతుందని అనుకోకూడదు. ఇది వేరే దగ్గర స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. ఇక్కడ నుంచి ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ.
ఓకే ఓకే,
అర్థమైందా? ఇక్కడ జస్ట్ చూపిస్తుంది అంతే. డజంట్ మీన్ దట్ ఇట్ ఈస్ స్టోరింగ్ హియర్. దీస్ ఎంట్రీస్ ఆర్ స్టోర్డ్ ఇన్ అనదర్ టేబుల్. అక్కడ నుంచి డేటా ఫెచ్ ఇక్కడ చూపిస్తుంది.
ఓకే, గాట్ ఇట్.
అర్థమైందా?
అర్థమైంది.
ఇది ఇక్కడ స్టోర్ అవ్వట్లేదు, అక్కడ నుంచి వేరే టేబుల్ జర్నల్ ఎంట్రీ టేబుల్ జర్నల్ ఫీల్డ్ టేబుల్ నుంచి తీసుకుని వచ్చి ఇక్కడ చూపిస్తుంది.
ఓకే, whenever we are opening this table, these fields are show up, right? Test update 1, update 2.
టేబుల్ ఓపెన్ చేయట్లేదు, రికార్డ్స్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తాం.
రికార్డ్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే
ఈ రికార్డ్ ఓపెన్ చేసినప్పుడు ఈ రికార్డ్ లో ఏవైతే అప్డేట్స్ ఎంటర్ చేసి ఉన్నాయో ఆల్రెడీ వర్క్ నోట్స్ మీద, ఆ అప్డేట్స్ అన్ని ఇక్కడ కనబడుతున్నాయి. ఇవన్నీ ఈ టేబుల్ ఈ రికార్డ్ కి సంబంధించిన అప్డేట్స్. ఇది
ఓకే,
వేరే రికార్డ్ లో వేరే అప్డేట్స్ ఉండొచ్చు, బట్ ఆ అప్డేట్స్ ఇక్కడ కనిపించవు. ఈ టేబుల్ కి ఈ రికార్డ్ కి సంబంధించిన అప్డేట్స్ మాత్రమే ఇక్కడ కనిపిస్తాయి.
ఓకే దిల్, అర్థమైంది. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
రైట్. ఎనీ అదర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ఎనీబడి? All right, guys. Thank you. We'll connect in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.